So I started the O'Byrne team on a credit card that my mom co-signed with me when I was 20 years old, and I didn't have any money, and I was really obsessed with people paying attention to me. So social media made a lot of sense, right? Like free was a really, really nice price, and I could get people to pay attention to me, and which ultimately that's all we're trying to do, right? And I think the other thing about social media that was really exciting for me is being someone who, I'm 36 now, but when I got into the business when I was 20, I didn't want, and I hope this doesn't come off wrong, I didn't want my brokerage to be the only thing that explained our brand. I wanted to have control over it. And so I like how we can use Facebook and Instagram to go directly into buyers and sellers' minds and actually control our own social media marketing. I think that's really powerful to take the reins back.
Yeah, and Seth, you had actually talked about, you had made an interesting point that you had told us Instagram is the new newspaper and Facebook is the new mailer. So why don't you talk a little bit about your social media strategy in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, and not to be like a contrarian or like shock people, but I don't think social media marketing is a part of a marketing plan. It is now the marketing plan. Print, I believe, should be anchored to social media. It's not social media should be anchored to print. I think it is the most powerful platform we all have. I think that's why this is such a full room of people. I think a lot of smart people are taking it seriously. When I look at Instagram and Facebook, I think it's important to understand that you are beaming into people's phones, right? Sometimes they're on the bathroom when they're looking at your post. Sometimes they're driving and they shouldn't be looking at their phones. But what you have to do, I believe, with all social media is you have to protect the sanctity of the timeline. And what that means is, people are trusting that we're going to deliver good content to them that's relevant and engaging. So our goal when we do social media is we plan out probably 2 to 4 weeks in advance every single post we do. And it takes a lot of time, but the messages that we're able to put out there, if you're able to think through them so much more thoroughly, the power is, it's exponential. It's insane. I started on Instagram, I had like 200 friends, and I think like 2 of them were my grandma's account. And now we have 16,000 followers, and we get over 100,000 impressions every single week. There's no way any other marketing platform will do that, right?
Yeah.
So I have a couple really short but good anecdotes that I think kind of illustrate the types of posts that can be really, really powerful. And I talked earlier, and I want to give anecdotes because I think it'll make it more solid for you guys to really understand. So we wanted to raise our price point too, right? And we said, well, what do rich people do, right? We just sat in a room and said, what do rich people do, right? And we realized helicopters were pretty fancy, right? And we thought it was a cool idea to start showing homes in helicopters. Now, I've probably shown 2 homes in helicopters, but we made a video about us showing homes in helicopters, and we got on every single local TV network within a month. I mean, people were freaking out over this thing that we were not actually doing. I mean, it was a great story, right? It was all sizzle no steak. But here's what it did. My average sales price doubled in 12 months. It doubled. Because Seth knows what rich people do, right? They do helicopters. I always joke that I do submarines if they let me. And so, but then we created a different problem. We just sold we had a listing for $20 million that we sold, and it was really exciting and really amazing, and we have all this great content, but we were starting to notice that our lower price point deals, which is a lot of what ends up being leads that I feed our team, the 500,000, even the million, were not coming to us. I was losing my own clients because I was too cool for school, right? I was in a helicopter all the time. And so what we realized is we needed to then take control of messaging again and change the conversation. So we decided to create a short little video, a 3-minute video where one of my agents, Mia, and one of our listing manager, Debbie Kakaisen, put on inflatable dinosaur costumes. And I sold them a house. They drove around in my Porsche with their head sticking out of the sunroof. I was showing them the home. They're falling down the stairs because they have short legs. They try to shut the shower door and it hits their tail and you hear and I'm not making this up. We started getting back some of those $1 million deals. And it was really interesting how humor could be so powerful in making our brand approachable again. And I think as we work with the Big Blue Sotheby's International Realty, that's something that I think we all need to always remember is those $1 million deals really do pay the bills. The $500,000 ones do too. So I think the great thing about social media is if you just sit down with a bunch of smart people and think about what your brand needs, you can create it tomorrow and post it tomorrow too. And that's I think really powerful.
You mentioned the importance of messaging. And I know that's something in terms of how you grow your audience, something that you leverage. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was really interesting because, I mean, we literally sit in this room in our office all the time and just obsess over the content we create. I mean, it's crazy. I think 13-year-old girls and the Auburn team are the two people that obsess this much about social media. I mean, it's freaking crazy.
And that's a folklore.
Yeah. I mean, we did a boomerang to promote this event. We spent 2.5 hours on the strip to get the perfect boomerang. Right? Like I slit one of my pants because I was trying to slide down a handrail in the middle of the Las Vegas.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second. Who knows what a boomerang is?
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Hey.
All right, go ahead. Cool. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. So Boomerang it's available through the Instagram app. It's also available independently. It's a free app. You can download it, and it will take about 1 second video, and then it replays it. So it's funny, like you're jumping into a pool, then it looks like you're jumping out of the pool, or just forward, backward movement.
I see a lot of looks. I've seen those things before.
But it's when it comes to messaging, and maybe Boomerang is taking us in a left turn here. To get back to messaging, I think what's really important about messaging is what these guys are saying, which is keep it personal. When we sat in this room obsessing over how to get more likes, how to get more interest, and then I posted something like really raw and real about my mom, and it was like I was crying as I was writing it. And I have a really good relationship with my mom, and I wanted to share that with the world. And we probably sold like 20 houses from that post about my relationship with my mother. It had nothing to do with real estate. And what I realize is, and I'm reminded about, being a kid and going to the dentist and seeing this one painting over and over and over that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we on the Auburn team have created the 3 C's of our marketing plan, right? And one is celebrity, right? You want to look cool. That's why our marketing director here is videotaping me, right? You want to have credibility, right? So that's like evidence of success, closed transactions, sharing maybe a Yelp review on your social media, someone saying nice stuff about you, right? So that's credibility. And then the final, which is incredibly important that a lot of us miss, is connectivity. Because if we're not connected to people on a deeper level, that relationship can get wiped out by Zillow. It can get wiped out by Redfin. But if our hearts are connected, not just our minds and our pocketbooks, that is pretty important. And I think if when you think about messaging, if you can write some really genuine stuff in there, and maybe even explore something that makes you uncomfortable, I think there's a tremendous amount of value in that. I think you're going to find your engagement is going to triple. I mean, it's amazing how much it works. So yeah, conversion rates of clients, yes. Oh yeah, so yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, when we started doing social media, I was skateboarding to my office downtown and selling maybe $10 million in real estate, which is not small, but now we're pretty close to 100 million every year, and it really is all because of social media. And I agree with what you said. We don't really compete that much anymore, and it's not to say there's not great competition in San Diego. There's incredible competition in San Diego. I think some of the best agents in the world are in San Diego. There's great brokers there. But the people who call us already know they want to hire us. And the people who don't want to hire us don't call us. So it's which is cool. The relationship works. But why that's cool, and especially in conversion ratio, which is about 100%. I just have to show up with my suit on and we get it mostly. Why that's so incredible is for our job is to make more money per hour, which means we can do one of 2 things: make more money or work less hours, right? That's the ratio. So if I get every listing I go on, I don't have to go on 300 listing appointments. I can go on 100, right? I go on about 100 to 150 a year, and I don't have to get every single one. And it also is an amazing experience because I know you all, like you've all been dating in your life, right? You know you start liking someone who likes you. Like you're just like, they might have like a giant mole on their forehead, but they start liking you and suddenly you're like, wait, are we dating? And what I mean to say by that is, it is amazing to have clients like you. And when people are following you on social media and they know you personally and they already like you, it makes this job so much more fun. You end up liking them more. Then they start referring you better people. And so those pain in the butt clients, you don't really have to do as much business with because you're in control of where your leads come from. And that to me is groundbreaking because I've been most of my career not being able to do that. So that's yeah.
Yeah, and
Sotheby's International Realty to me, especially because I joined Sotheby's when I was 30 years old. Sotheby's International Realty is a very substantive, very distinguished brand. How we use social media is to put a little millennial in that in that brand. So it's affected us because our price points have gone through the roof. I'd never even been to a $20 million listing before I got a $20 million listing last year. You know what I mean? And it's all because of Sotheby's. But how does that affect our social media? It affects our social media because it gives us a legitimate platform so we don't have to keep proving ourselves. We can just go have fun and do stupid boomerangs. And so you get both the best worlds. You get distinguished, but then you can be really fun and real. And I think being able to marry those two is something I don't think any other brand can do.
yeah, so you're speaking to the approachability factor, you
Yes.
know, kind of removing the intimidation factor of the Sotheby's International Realty brand that some consumers may have, while still having that solid credibility.
Exactly, yeah, and the conversion rate and the approachability are very connected. I'm sure you get that, but conversions don't happen unless people think they can approach you. So I think it's really critical that you balance both of those things. Yeah, so I think any live or live-like function, right, like Facebook Live, Instagram Story, Snapchat, everyone approaches it differently, right? And I'm a big fan of knowing two things really well and not really worrying about all the other stuff. And I think what I recognize with Instagram Story is I really like going to cool places. And so I like showing people the cool places I obsess about, you know what I mean? We go to nice hotels, we go on nice trips, we do fun things, and I want to bring people with me. And because we're really bad with our money and we spend too much of it, it makes really fun Instagram stories. And it also shows people that we're deeply entrenched in luxury living and everything that means, right? So, Instagram story is so easy. You can take photos, you can do videos, you can do fun boomerangs. But what's really cool about it is, I use a term math teachers use, which is show your work, right? You need to show that you're working, and you need to show that you're doing stuff. And so, I'll show that I'm running on the beach at 5 in the morning, right in front of my house. And then after that, I'm putting on a suit, and after I'm doing this and that. And I think the cool thing about Instagram Story, although I'm not a big Facebook Live guy, Instagram Story offers a similar quality, which is it's a little bit more raw. And I also really like doing it too to kind of tease videos. But what's crazy is we actually get way more interest on our Instagram Story than we do on our actual Instagram page itself. And that was really interesting when we started seeing that. So if you guys aren't already using it, I definitely would. It's very easy.
Yeah.
We have a term called the Trojan horse of content. It was a term that we thought of. And the Trojan horse of content is really relevant if you're on Facebook, because most people start their social media life on Facebook, and then maybe they go to Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, right? So the Trojan horse of content is a really critical idea, and it's not really what it's called, it's what we call it, but you'll understand it pretty quickly. So the concept, of course, of the Trojan horse is the Trojan horse made it through the gates, right? But the soldiers were inside that Trojan horse, right? And the story goes they took the city. Because the soldiers couldn't get through that gate without wrapping up the soldiers in something that was supposed to be a gift, right? And I know this sounds crazy, this might not totally make sense, but there are lots of business messages that you can pack inside of a personal message in your Facebook. We all know the humble brag, right? #blessed. I'm so blessed and so honored. I mean, it's silly, but I'm so blessed to work in a company that we can sell hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate, right? I'm so honored to have great clients that give me all the really expensive listings. It's a way to dress up something that has a business purpose in something that's more personal, right? People are happy that you're humbled about something. They're happy that you're excited about something. They're happy that you're proud about something. So, and we have, and I can email you guys if you want to email me, I'll send you the list. I mean, we have actually categorized 25 different Trojan horse content pieces. And so if you start thinking about messaging, number one, that's something to have in the back of your head. And then number two, I would start categorizing your social media. That way, like on a Tuesday, and you don't know what you're doing, you go, oh yeah, that's that. I'm gonna do that. I'm so honored to sell so much real estate, right? And so you can kind of paint by numbers on social media, and I think that's the only way you can truly do it consistently. Because if you don't organize it and give yourself a checklist, you kind of give up. But I would definitely say that Trojan horse content is something definitely to be thinking about.
Excellent.
Well, Seth, how are you? I've been listening to everybody, and I understand the value of the stories and Facebook Live, etc. It gives people more of a gritty, real interaction with their followers. The concept of Facebook Live to me, I mean, we have the means to do a live broadcast, each and every one of us. And what we see in traditional media that goes on the air has been produced and cleaned up and reviewed and etc. So there's a lot of control that goes into that. How would you, or how can you suggest to somebody like me who's reluctant to jump into Facebook Live for that very reason, for that concern? Because I want to keep things pretty, I want to keep things clean, etc. So how can I get started with that and kind of get over that reluctance?
Wow, I could talk about that for hours, but I won't. I don't like Facebook Live. I mean, I don't. Okay, I love Instagram stories. Facebook, we're trying to create a luxury brand on our own, right? And we're trying to create messaging that says we're clean, we're polished, we're this, we're that. Facebook Live is like the complete opposite, right? Half the time people are doing it, it's like right in front of their face. You see their noses like half their screen when they start these things. So anytime that we do Facebook Live, we think a lot about Facebook Live. We just don't turn it on. We have a gimbal that we put on our phones, right, when we do Facebook Live. We put on all the right settings, and now we're actually doing a television show in San Diego that's on Facebook Live as well. In fact, I'm flying from here in like 1 hour to Seattle to open up a new market for this television show that we've been a part of. And so there are ways, and I believe it's called Livewire. I'm not exactly sure, but there's.
Always connected.
So Instagram Story is cool because you don't have to post it live, right? That's why I prefer it to Facebook Live. Facebook Live, you can produce it though. There are many apps that allow you to produce it and give it a more polished look. I don't like the campy, every man's man or every woman's woman look of Facebook Live. I want to look super cool. So, and that takes a lot of time and effort. And so I would prefer to do professionally produced stuff. The humble brag, exactly. # blessed. So I skateboard in swimming pools, and I like going to pool parties, and I let people know. And I really think as far as is it successful is in the engagement. Social media is more a marketing research tool than even a marketing tool because you can see what the market is reacting to. So I think you'd be really surprised. Harley Davidson sounds really cool, and who doesn't like good looking women? I think you've got something there.